FDI is slow in coming. FII money was coming in equity and debt, but it's now going to slow down in debt. Immediately the picture that you can paint the picture out in front of you again. Just to show you again here on the strong dependence on FII. In 2007, FII with a combination of equity and debt, it was largely equity in 2007, 2008, 2009, and even 2010 mostly was equity, was as much as $39 billion. So in 2010, what really happened was the fundamentals were there. We started seeing a trade deficit of $12 billion, $11 billion, but everyone ignored it. Ideally, the steps that the government is taking on gold should have been taken in 2010. Okay, but he's taken it now. If this had been taken in 2010, I can tell you our situation would have been a lot better right now. Now, in 2010, the trade deficit was still pretty wide, but because it got compensated by a large inflow from the FII and FDI side, everybody said, kosher, it's good. There's no problem with the Indian economy. But what happened in 2011? It fell dramatically from 39 billion to 8 billion, and suddenly that statistical evidence of the trade deficit was on everyone's face, and everyone had no choice but to face up to that reality. And from 2010 onwards till today, that mathematical reality of our economy is there, and we can't run away from it. The year-to-date numbers in 2013, as I said, were encouraging till now, but given the fact that the US has chosen to possibly end its quantitative easing, I suspect this number is not going to go up too much in the near future. This is a short-term summary in a way. On a trading floor, I live in a trading floor, and I basically give my outlook on the rupee for 6 to 12 months. But in the medium term, when I talk to my clients, I talk to my institutional clients, I talk to a lot of corporate clients, they're still very, very positive on India. And I think that's really the only hope that allows me to think that there is a silver lining somewhere there. A lot of people are waiting now for the next cycle of investment, which is going to happen in 2015, 2016, to take a call on whether India will again meet its parameters of investment. And that's why I think probably 2014 plays a significant role, that if there is a government that comes in that seems, at least on paper, to provide some calm stability and decision making, it might enthuse some of the corporate clients to invest and reinvest in India again. And that again becomes a rolling form of FDI that comes in over the next few years. As I said, external debt to FX reserves is at a very reasonable percentage in comparison to, let's say, other emerging market currencies. And you've seen recently, I don't know if you've heard about what's really happening in Turkey. Aside from the civil disobedience issues, there is a real danger of their economy getting stuck in a real conundrum because of this figure, the external debt to their FX reserves. So a lot of times when people ignore some of these stats, actually some of these stats for India stack up really well when you compare it to emerging markets. I think inflation has, by and large, the government has got lucky on inflation. It's come off a bit. I think the monsoons, again, I'm not a weatherman, but it looks like everybody says it's going to be a good monsoon. And if it's a good monsoon, I think the inflation base number remains low, which means the RBI can be encouraged to cut interest rates in the next few credit policies by 50 to 75 basis points. Some aggressive banks have actually called for even 100 basis points cut across the next 12 to 18 months. If that happens, it again gives a bit of a kickstart to the economy, enthuses people to invest money at a lower cost of funding, and that again has a medium-term positive macroeconomic spin to it. So, in the short term, problems, but in the medium term, there is hope. Measures are being taken to spur growth on a warpath. Unfortunately, the decisions that have been taken now have a lag effect. If an IKEA wants to set up shop in India, it can't just set up 20 outlets in 1 year. It needs to buy land, it needs to do stuff, get clarity firstly on what some of the norms are. But even after they get clarity from the norms, it's going to take them at least 2 years or 3 years to get the back end sorted out, to get land wherever they want to get things done. So again, government has taken steps. Unfortunately, they should have been taken in 2010. They've taken it now. So we got to wait for these events to play out. Now, from your perspective, what should you be doing? unlike a lot of the emerging markets where you will be competing against, so when you compete against Thai producers from Thailand, producers in Turkey, producers in China also, you got to realize there's one huge advantage you have over them, and that is the financial market in India is way ahead of those guys. So when you have hedging products, those guys don't have access to a hedging product. China now is doing things that India actually did in the 90s on the financial side. They've just started getting a forward curve, which means that a manufacturer in China, when he wants to send money out somewhere, he actually had no choice but to bite the bullet and just leave the exposure open. And that's why, you know, a lot of people would say there was currency manipulation because of the level they held it. The reality was the Chinese guy didn't have any way to hedge himself, whereas the Indian guy always had a way to hedge himself. India has an extremely liquid spot and forward market. And from your side, I think it's extremely important that you understand and learn more about this market, because when you increase your size and you increase your business scope, you should know that these products are available to you. They're extremely liquid, transparent products. The RBI has been encouraging you to make use of these products for your risk management. The only other advice I can give you is, when you talk to your bank, and please spend some time with our counter there, you know, HSBC's got a counter there, spend some time with my colleagues there to understand how this works. But when you do take a call on what you need to do, make sure it's consistent. A lot of times I see a lot of business houses taking a call when things get panicky, you know. People say, I don't want to take a hedge. Fine, that's a decision. But then don't panic and take a decision in a rush when things go against you. So, as I said, the RBI allows an operating company in India to hedge against specific documentation. So you just need to go to the bank and say, look, I've got this import payment or an export collection bill that's coming up, that's due in 60 days, and the bank sets up a forward hedging limit with you. There's a standard documentation that the RBI insists upon, which you need to complete with your bank. And once you do that, you agree upon a price with a transparent spread on it, excuse me, and hedge it. Now, for SME clients especially, and especially those clients who are typically growing at a much faster pace, the RBI allows an FX risk against past performance. So what this means is, let's say you're an SME company, today your turnover was 50 crores, but next year you anticipate your turnover to be 100 crores, but in your hand at this point in time, you have invoices only for 70 crores. They allow you to book another 30 crores on the basis of your past performance from last year of 50 crores. The idea being that you can take a full cover of 100 crores or 50 crores or 10 crores or whatever be your turnover size, so that you are not exposed to any risk. The past performance requires you to have a certification from your auditor. In the recent FEDI conference in Singapore, the RBI has made some changes, but they haven't sent the formal circular yet. But once they do, you no longer need a certificate from your auditor, you can self-certify your past performance. But these are important things for you to know, because when you have a chance to hedge yourself, I believe you should. Risk management is not about gambling. Risk management is about protecting your balance sheet from a risk that allows you to focus on your core business, which is to manufacture. From my side, that's all. I'll be glad to take any questions or anything at this point, or later on when you have time on the drink side. Thank you.
We're very happy to have HSBC Commercial Banking as one of the platinum partners at Gmcv 2020. It's now time for us to quickly invite on stage Mr. Ilango to give the memento to Mr. Rajat Mehta, Director HSBC Global Markets. And I now invite Mr. Ilango to give a small memento to Rajat Mehta. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a big round of applause. And we need to thank him that he answered the goal question very well. All right, ladies and gentlemen, further down, we are now going into a visual interlude of our ERP solution partner, Sundaram Infotech. Sundaram Infotech are our ERP partners. Ladies and gentlemen, a quick interlude.
To show you some of the tools and expertise at your disposal. And we think you'll agree that they make getting started fast and easy. With Microsoft Dynamics NAV, your system doesn't have to be set up from scratch. Together with your partner, you fill in master data like contact information and bank. This time-saving tool is called Rapid Start Services, and it's available to all our partners to use to help you get set up fast. So rather than using weeks or months on the process, you can go live in hours or days. Accelerating deployment reduces the time your own people spend on the project and cuts down the hours you have to pay consultants to help. Another great thing about Microsoft Dynamics NAV is that it's so easy for you and your people to learn. We've designed it to look just like Windows and Office, so the user experience will be very similar. It requires very little training because everything is familiar. Your people will find it intuitive and even feel inspired to discover new ways of using information. Not only is the user interface in Microsoft Dynamics NAV similar to other Microsoft products, but it works seamlessly with them. So what you're really getting is a single solution that enhances tools you're comfortable and familiar with and are already using. This makes it easy to use the business information in Microsoft Dynamics NAV in your everyday work. No matter which Microsoft product you're using, you won't notice any difference in the user experience. The only thing you will notice is that the solution supports your decision-making and boosts your productivity. We've seen some examples of what makes Microsoft Dynamics NAV so fast and easy to set up, learn, and use. And if you'd like to learn or see more, we'll be happy to help you connect to a local partner. One of the basic principles behind Microsoft Dynamics NAV has always been to help you focus on what your business is good at. Unlike other solutions, it doesn't impose restrictions, but rather offers some flexible options that we think you'll love. Options that help you address your business, deployment, and work environment needs. Microsoft Dynamics NAV has helped hundreds and thousands of diverse businesses in countries all around the world. Whatever industry you're in, whatever functionality you need, whatever type of business you run, there's a proven solution for you. Over the last 30+ years, our global network of partners have gathered deep industry knowledge and created solutions for a wide range of businesses and highly specific industries. That makes the Microsoft Dynamics NAV Marketplace a great place to find the solution and partner that best fits your particular needs. Once you've found the right solution, it's time to consider how you want to deploy it. What's the best way to deploy Microsoft Dynamics NAV? We don't make the decision for you. That's up to you. It depends on many factors related to your resources and business strategy. Your partner can help you decide whether to host it in the cloud or install it on your premises. Just as the decision of how to deploy the solution is up to you, so is how to use it. We've designed it so the people who use it every day as a central part of their job can get a rich user experience. It is also possible to use the web client, and we support all the major browsers. You can also use SharePoint to open up the solution to trusted partners and exchange business information, or for example, to give employees access to self-service functions such as filling out timesheets. We believe that Microsoft Dynamics NAV will meet your specific needs, and we'd love to help you connect to the right partner in order to take the next step. A business solution has many functions, but in the end, it's the people who use it that make the difference. Microsoft Dynamics NAV helps your people increase productivity, improve teamwork, and get closer to customers. Let's take a look at some highlights we think you'll love. Microsoft Dynamics NAV is more than just an ERP system. It's a business solution that works seamlessly with many familiar Microsoft tools and products. So you and your people use the programs you already know to bring data to life. You and your people are more productive because you use the products you know and work with every day. Office integration brings you a complete set of familiar tools to get things done when you need it, and in the format you want it in. Business success is dependent on people working together with all kinds of different information. Structured ERP data that one person works with, like the details and sales orders, is important, but so is the unstructured information that a colleague holds, like emails pertaining to those orders or the number of hours they used on a given job. With the SharePoint client, we bring both worlds into one interface, so everyday users of Microsoft Dynamics NAV can collaborate more effectively with the relevant people and together get more out of their information. Another type of collaboration is the special connection that an online video call offers. There are situations where you need that type of connection to clear something up or solve a task, and you need it now. It doesn't make sense to set up a formal online phone conference meeting. With Microsoft's Skype and link integration, your colleague, client, or business partner is always just one click away. We've seen how Microsoft Dynamics NAV improves productivity, teamwork, and communication. If you'd like to learn more, we'd love to help you take the next step.
We would now like to welcome our guest of honor, Dr. T.S. Arthanari, who is Associate Professor, Faculty of Business and Economics, University of Auckland, New Zealand. He is also Auditor, Quality Systems, Editor of Open Journal Maths, author of numerous technology and research papers, member of the Australian Association of Engineering Education and Australian Conservation Foundation, and life member in Operations Research Society of India, New Zealand, and Production and Operations Management Society of America. We would like you to deliver the guest of honor address on fostering growth in manufacturing through SCM innovation. Welcome, sir.
I thank the organizers for inviting me to participate in this great event. I'm not an entrepreneur, I'm not an investor, I'm not a financial analyst, I'm not talking about future technologies. I'm going to talk about a few things which we have been doing research and a few things which are very important in the 21st century context. So, of course, I'm not new to Coimbatore because the first time I came was when my father wanted me to become an engineer and he wanted me to write the entrance exam from IIT, but I was not interested in becoming an engineer. So I wanted to become a geologist. At that time, it was very interesting new subjects, but my father said, for your health, that's not a good subject, you must go and try engineering. But of course, I somehow managed to do a different new subject, that is statistics at that time. So with that, I'll start the presentation today. I would just start with this introduction to one of the centers with which I'm associated, that's the Center for Supply Chain Management. It's headed by one Professor Tawa Alson. She has been contributing to this field for a long time, and she was invited to come and direct the center. So I'm part of that center. And today's topic is about supply chain innovation, but actually this is about innovation supply chain. That's what I wanted to change it slightly, because not talking about what's happening in supply chain, what are innovated, rather we should talk about how do we bring the supply of innovation for crucial, that is, how do we connect in this area. So this is what I thought I would be making a slight change in the topic, but talk about that. And this I'm going to, today's presentation, actually, this is what I wanted to talk, or I planned. But then after coming here and then seeing all the items and all the great ideas presented, I find that I decided that I would not go by the slides, but I would try to tell certain things which will fit in with what has been already told. The first thing that comes to my mind is the golden words from Dr. Manikam. That is, the golden words are that don't buy gold, but buy technology. So I would of course say that if technology is available, we should really buy, but I remember what late Professor Jenichi Taguchi is a Japanese engineer who has been visiting India many times. Also Indian Statistical Institute he has visited many times, where I have met him. He used to tell that India, if they want to do something different, better, because he was one of the persons who always talked about taking quality, not at the, which is only after the sales, but it should be not at the production, but it should be even before, that is at the design stage. Actually, today's presentation by Autodesk, if he were alive, he would have really enjoyed, because not only they are pushing quality to the design stage, they even don't make a prototype, but still they can talk about or estimate how it will perform. So that's the kind of thing what I used to hear from Professor Taguchi. I remember him today. So when we talk about this, technology, buying technology, so what he was saying at that time is, if you are a follower, you'll always be a follower. You don't really lead. So what India and China should do, in his opinion, is that they should lead rather than following. So, and it's possible, because we do have very innovative people and very innovative resources, but are we really connecting well? That's the point. Of course, if I have tried to talk what I have planned, I would have talked about so many things. Of course, as you see that the main thing is about research, and another thing is about the complexity, then about collaboration, then there are so many other things which we need to address.